Good afternoon, everyone, to our audience, our viewers, those listening to us, and our hosts. Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's community show. And today we are talking about saving and entrepreneurship. We know that the times are hard, the economy is hard biting, things are expensive, people are making less. It may seem utopian to suggest that there should be saving and thus entrepreneurship. However, we have to see whether there is at least any small iota of possibilities of saving and also possibilities of entrepreneurship. We know that it is in crises such as this that people emerge, that businesses emerge. We remember in COVID, in the midst of a global pandemic, things were hard. Many businesses grew by tens or by thousands, fold. Many online businesses. So in every crisis, there are some business people that benefit. Today, we are talking about the possibility of having investment landscapes increasing and entrepreneurship. But let's also look at the hindrances to those two phenomena. And to dissect this conversation, I'm joined by Miss Vaolah Amupire, whom I'll ask to introduce herself later, and Nicholas Aruho, who is an economist. Madam Vaolah is a business person and thus an entrepreneur. And our third conversationist is Lydia Musiimire. Thank you very much to our panelists for joining us, and I'm the host, Martin Musiime. Let me begin with you, Vaolah Amupire. Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Hello to all our viewers. My name is Vaolah Amupire. I'm the founder and CEO of Wena. Wena is an online hardware store, and we basically deliver construction solutions to all people that are building. Happy to be part of this conversation.
Thank you very much. Nicholas?
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Nicholas Aruho. I am an economist. I'm also a writer. I've written 2 books so far. I write about real life issues, including money and business and all other real life issues. One of my books is called The Breakthrough, Moving Beyond the Sticking Points. And another one is called Beyond Education. And I'm very happy to be with you here today.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. And we shall begin the conversation with you. You've written a book called Beyond the Sticking. You said Beyond the Sticking Points?
One is called Beyond Education, and then another one is called The Breakthrough, Moving Beyond the Sticking Points. Yes.
Yes, Beyond the Sticking Points. And we want to begin our conversation at that point. We are in a hard economic situation, fuel prices, there is reported retrenchment. Many businesses cannot survive. Of course, already many businesses couldn't survive due to COVID. And now the current economic situation has even exacerbated the situation. Now, my question to you is it still possible for businesses to stay afloat at this particular time?
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator, for that question. Indeed, it's an intriguing question. The times are really hard for everyone. Prices are going up every now and then. And really everyone is feeling the pinch in their pockets. But at the end of the day, we have to move on, and the opportunities are always there. where there are challenges, there are also opportunities. And talking about saving and entrepreneurship, you know, we tend to look at saving in times of plenty. People want to think that you only save when there is plenty, but actually saving should be, you know, when the challenges come in, when the money challenges the economy, and that's when we have to come in. Even those who have not been saving, this is the time to save, because now times are hard. If you don't save now, the effect is much more than when the economy is doing well. When the economy is doing well, maybe you expect to get some money the next day. Maybe the prices are low, so even when you have less money, you can still survive. But at this time, when the economy is really not doing well, inflation has gone up, interest rates have gone up. So this is the time to look at our money, and this is the time to consider all the expenditure we have, whether we are individuals or business people. So if you are in business, depending on where you are, because business people are affected differently by inflation. If you are in production, you may benefit because you're going to sell goods at a little bit higher price. But of course, that also depends on where you're getting the inputs. So if you are one of the lucky ones and the prices of inputs have not increased so much as compared to other inputs, then you can be able to make some money during the time of inflation, because the prices have increased, so your profit margin can increase. But of course, that's why I had to qualify it depending on where you sit. If you're owning a business which is producing items whose inputs have increased in price, or even the supply has reduced, for example, those who are getting some products from abroad, that's why you see the price of soap, the price of cooking oil have increased, because it's now more challenging to get those inputs from areas which are affected by wars. But for other people where the inputs are available, then they can take advantage of the inflation to produce more and earn more. Now, where the inputs have increased in price, or where even getting them is a challenge, that may still be a problem to produce more. That of course increases your costs of production, and sometimes the cost of production may increase much more than the increase in price of the final goods is able to cover. So there is likely to be some challenges. And of course, in any business you're doing, let's say you're not, I was talking now at a higher level in terms of those that are producing, maybe you have a factory, but of course also, even if it's a small business, if you're making chapatis, your main raw material is wheat, whose price has increased. So you're going to face that challenge. But of course, also other challenges like transport, they will affect everybody. So whoever is in business, you're going to be affected by the increase in transport fares and fuel and all that. So that means that we now need to look at areas where we can reduce on our expenditure, because there are some which we cannot control. You're not able to control the price of fuel. You're not able to control the price of wheat. You're not able to control the price of other imported items. The only things you can control are some of those other factors. There may be still factors within your production process or within your business that you can control. Probably this is not the time to buy fixed costs which are going to take you much more to get a return. This may not be the time to hire more people who are going to increase your cost of production. This may not be the time to open, to go into new markets which you've not explored to know exactly how they are going to perform. So this is the time to concentrate on areas which you are sure of that are working. This is the time to look at those areas which you have which have proved to be working, and to look at among, because we have different costs. When you are in business, you have different costs. Each business has its own unique cost. So now we all have to list our costs afresh, and we see those ones that may be within our means that we can control. Because at the end of the day, we have to see how to survive. Because this is the situation that will test us as business people and as individuals. We have to survive through this crisis, hoping that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So this is the time, if a business person has a loan, maybe if you're not able to meet your loan obligation the way you used to, this is the time to go and have a conversation with your banker to see how to make a plan that you can manage. If you have other people, other creditors, this is the time to talk to them and have a favorable payment plan, such that because cash flow is likely to be a challenge for most people. So this is the time to look at those areas where you can save some money, where you can postpone some payments, such that instead of paying now, if some suppliers can allow you to pay later, and so this is the time to explore all those options to see how to improve our cash flow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. Before I go to you, Vaolah, we've been joined by Lydia Musiimire, whom I will ask to introduce herself, her name and what she does. Okay, Lydia will introduce herself and it's her turn to contribute. Vaolah, I asked Nicholas whether it's possible to save. Before you perhaps respond to that, tell us, how is business? How are you managing in these precarious conditions? Are you managing to stay afloat? Or are you staying afloat in any case?
I think that's how I should have started. Thank you, Martin. And thank you, Nicholas, for your beautiful submission. Business is very challenging currently, especially with the fuel prices and the general economy, on how if our intended buyers do not have money to spend, it is very difficult for us to be able to have so many orders coming in. And as an online hardware store, construction is a very expensive venture, and therefore it calls for people to have money, or for the economy to be liquid enough for people to venture into construction. While some people venture into commercial construction, majority of wena's typical customers are people building houses for their home or houses that they are staying in, not commercial ventures. So you find that at a point where the economy is not doing well, then people have to reprioritize their options on where to put their money. And also they're wondering if they actually have the next paycheck coming in. So you find that we as a business are limited on how many customers we can get in and how many paying customers we actually have at the moment. But also the nature of how we move things from point A to point B becomes very costly because of the high fuel prices. So we are struggling, but we will go through this tough time. And on your question, if it is possible to save, I think it is possible to save if the times are allowing one to do so. But if you're not even sure if you have a meal, then it becomes very difficult for you to save because you cannot save what you don't have. First, you have to have something for you to save. And then if I'm to get saving correctly, it's you save from what you already have. And majority of people right now do not even have something to get a meal from. So it's that difficult. But it would be a good thing for everyone to actually do save.
Thank you, Vaolah, for that candid submission. Oh, unfortunately, Lydia has gone off, but we shall keep the conversation going. Back to Nicholas. You said people should do, renegotiate some of the credit facilities they had peaked. Some should possibly change the priority areas. My question is, how possible is that, considering that if you are, for example, to renegotiate with the bank also needs to continue surviving, or other, your creditors also need to continue in business. They also have priority areas, they also have costs to meet. So if there is continuous renegotiation of loans, of credit facilities, yet usually they are contracts, that people entered into, isn't that going to create serious chaos and perhaps even serious ethical issues, considering that people will default and then they'll try to bypass the system to go off the hook and things like that. Is it possible? And if so, how feasible can it be? And what would be the impact to the economy if many people began defaulting on their obligations, and then they cannot pay because of the hard economic situations, they cannot pay their debts, they cannot afford to continue facilitating their businesses, they can't pay workers, isn't it going to throw the entire economy in turmoil? Remember in 2008, the credit crunch, one of the reasons was that people could not even pay for their mortgages, which intensified the situation at the hand. Aruho.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, moderator. Indeed, these are hard times. But like I said, especially regarding the credit facilities, it's a negotiation process. At the end of the day, if you're not able to meet your loan obligations, the first option you have is to first go back to your banker and see if you can renegotiate the terms. That's the most prudent thing you can do. Of course, if some business people are not able to pay at all, actually right now the non-performing loans are increasing. So some banks even are stuck with securities they cannot sell. Some people put their properties as securities for their loan. Now they are not able to pay, and even the people who are willing to buy are also fewer because those with money to invest in such properties at this point are also not so many. So everyone is affected, but of course, what I know about the financial institutions is that they would also like to help you to pay. Because instead of getting stuck with so many non-performing loans, if you're able to pay probably a smaller amount per month than the one you had negotiated for at first. Most banks will be able to, if you give them your situation, you can renegotiate. Most banks will be able to allow you if you're able to. Of course, it has a cost. It is not the ideal solution for it because it means you prolong the loan, meaning you're going to pay more interest at the end of the day. But it's a short-term solution to keep you moving. If you're still making some money in the business and you don't want all your cash flow to go into servicing the loan, then it may be prudent to see how you can renegotiate the loan such that you pay some money, but you also remain with some cash flow to help you run the business, because otherwise the whole business will corrupt. It's not the ideal situation, of course. It's not easy, but it's a short-term solution for the crisis that we find ourselves in. And of course, you do that hoping that things will get better. We know that one of the reasons why we are here is because of the war going on in Ukraine. So you have to keep hoping that probably the war can end, and then we some of these things like fuel can reduce, or you have to hope that maybe OPEC can agree, because the last time I checked, they were meeting to see if they can increase production. If they, for example, allow to increase production, it means that without Russia, they would increase the quantity of fuel in the world, such that the fuel prices can reduce. But we are all in this situation, and we have to see how to come out. And you know, it's not Uganda alone. You know what is happening in Sri Lanka. You've seen people in other countries, even in US. It's worldwide. So it's not something that is only here, and it's not easy. So we have to find a way of seeing how to go through it. It will not be easy. Certainly some businesses will fail, but we have to try all the options available. That's why I was picking on some of those examples, like renegotiating the loans, like renegotiating with suppliers, such that maybe they can give you some credit facility, like looking at your costs and removing some of the cost areas that you can do without at this point. But certainly I'm aware that it's not easy, and only that we have to look at options that can take us through. In the meantime, as we hope for things to change in the near future. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicholas. Lydia, you please introduce yourself, and then I'll ask a follow-up question.
Okay, so my name is Lydia Musiimire, and I'm an insurance expert. Right now, I work for UAP Old Mutual as the regional sales manager, and I've done this for the last 10 years.
Oh, thank you. Lydia, please paint for us a picture of how the economy is, or how things are from where you stand. I understand that you are an insurer, therefore you receive, of course, customers, insuring their businesses, insuring their loan arrangements, insuring their lives of their loved ones, you know, health insurance, their cars, name it. How is the situation from where you stand, given the current turmoil the economy is?
Yeah, thank you so much. Of course, as Nicholas said, the economy is not good. People are complaining. You've seen about the commodity prices. Of course, being an insurer and having done this for some time, for the last 2 years, things have been tough to date. When you look at how people have been doing their savings, for example, clients have reduced. People entering insurance business and savings, it has that clients have reduced even what they bring in compared to the 2 years back before the COVID. Yeah, that really shows that people are struggling. And even how people have been paying their premiums, being savings schemes, you have to promptly pay your premiums, say monthly or quarterly or half year or even annual premiums. Things have been so tough. The persistence levels where we stand is so low. People have not been committing to their policies monthly or regularly, how they're supposed to be doing it. And of course, whenever you check on them, you call on them, what they're complaining is that they're saying the economy is bad, things are not good. So, but of course, we cannot just sit there and relax. There's a lot that we are doing around it. There is a lot, as Nicholas says, you meet your clients and negotiate, because these policies are really there to help you save. At the same time, they're there to help you continue. Of course, we cannot let them die and say, please continue saving onto your policies. If you don't do this, we shall do this. Even us, even the Insurance Regulatory Authority came up with strategies, different strategies on how we can maintain our clients on board, looking at the situation. So as an insurer, I would say that the situation is tight, but we have different ways that we are handling, where we visit our clients and say, if somebody has been putting $1 million per month, and then we negotiate and say, going forward, kind of reduce from your target from say 100 millions to 50 millions, to make sure that they continue with their plan. If originally have been putting 100,000 on their account per month, then we'll devise ways on how this can be reduced to make sure that we continue with the plan. And that is the reason I like savings, because you can imagine, like, if you have been there and you have been working and eating all the money, that is how I normally call it, eating everything that you have gotten for you. You get everything and eat it. So I like the culture of saving in all this, because you as a father, you cannot stand before your family and say, no more eating, the economy is bad, no more eating. Or like as an insurer, I cannot say that I will stop going to UAP to work. No, you have to devise ways on how you continue. Whatever other challenges that we are facing, the children have to eat, the school fees have to be paid. So that is the reason I emphasize the culture of savings, because still, at least you can have options of, say, I am getting my money out of, say, UAP. If I've been putting my money, say, under interest funds, I can say, this is the time to get part of it and say, do business. For those people who also lost jobs during this time, as Nicholas said, people are reducing costs, employees are being reduced. So if you're one of them and you've been working and getting your income, if you're stopped from work, will you die? Will you go as a man in the house and go and tell your children that no more eating? So those are the reasons why we have got to save at the same time to help us in such moments. To save something. So I can see people who have been doing savings from our side. Some are happy. Some are happy. They're saying, this is the time now. I need to get part 50% of what I've been putting on my account out. Maybe I start up a business. To tell you the truth, that my clients or our clients here who have been saving, they have got options. They're better than people who have not been putting something aside. They have options. Some have started businesses. Some have picked some of their money from us and they're doing well. Some are paying their school fees. And maybe some who saved before the policies have also reached maturity. And when your policy reaches maturity, you're supposed to get your portion out. Some are happy. Some are happy. I would say that 80% of my clients are happy, that I personally advise to have those personal savings. So as Nicholas has been, of course, talking about reducing the cost, and that example that I gave, about if you're one of those people that have been chosen to not to be cut off the employment list. So savings is good. And I also gave an example of where if you've been saving some amount and maybe reduce it to certain amount of money and you still be comfortable. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. That is what I can say for now. The economy is bad, yes, but as a dad in the house, there are some things that have got to continue moving. As an employer somewhere, there are some things you cannot say I'm stopping tea at the organization because things are bad. No, you'd rather say that now, you'd rather look at other things that you can cut costs on, but there are some other things that have to continue as life moves on. Thank you.
Just before you mute, you of course what you said notwithstanding, we know Uganda is largely hand to mouth economy. Most people spend what they get, they spend. I don't know the other technical terms that are given to that. That means we have a smaller population that is able to have an extra kind of income beyond what they spend on food. They're unable to have an extra income to save or even spend on other things. So there is also that. But what I want you to explain further is on you said your regulator has come out with new measures which they have given you to follow on managing the situation, managing the predicament that your clients and you find yourselves in during these hard economic times. Would you mind sharing some of what the Insurance Regulatory Authority has issued out?
Thank you so much. On normal circumstances, the insurance policies are supposed to get out of the active mode if the premiums are not coming through. But during the time of the lockdown, we had IRA sending messages to us that we can give a grace period. Before, it used to be 3 months. If you're not contributing to your policies for 3 months, it was extended to 6 months. And of course, special provisions to say that teachers who spent 2 years without earning anything, those were the highly affected during the time of COVID, since the schools were closed. So, and of course, a case-by-case scenario when a client comes in and is like, I've not paid for the last 2 years and for the last 12 months, and now I've gotten a new job. So we are allowing those policies up to 12 months. Up to 12 months, which is very interesting from where I sit. And of course, not in insurance, we don't only do those savings that are long-term, also savings that are short-term, say 3 months, 1 year, 2 weeks under the interest funds. We also do such. So there the client can come at any time, even to pick whatever that he has on the account without us charging the client. And moreover, we also had to put in the interest, and of course, they're not taxed. So as an economist, I know, Nicholas, where you sit as an economist, you want to hear your money every day earning something, every day your money adding value onto your money, cutting costs here and there. So I want to clearly say that what we are doing also on short term, the client and the daily interest, we are not charging the tax. So I think, sir, to you, this is interesting to hear that even when you come to get your money out from us, we shall not charge you on the principal, even if your contract was for 1 year and you come to us after 2 weeks to get your money, we shall not charge you. So there we can understand about what is happening. That you have given us all your money, it was supposed to be for 3 years. Now you've come to us after 1 year, and we are not saying that we are charging you because the contract was for 3 years. No, we are simply saying that please have your savings back to you. and we shall put in the interest as agreed and without being taxed. I think I've answered you.
Yeah, thank you. Surely you've answered. Vaolah, you've listened to both economists speak. You are a business person. You're an entrepreneur. You run a business. You are every day faced with those hard realities. Like I also said, we're in a country where it's hand to mouth. So from all that you've had, what would be your response? You've had the economist saying actually it's possible to save. From where you stand, you said it's very hard, saving, because you asked saving. Yeah, saving from what? So please, how do you respond?
I think I like the fact that Lydia mentioned that you, as a person saving, you have to cut costs of certain things so that you're able to save, and in her case, be able to remit towards the different savings options that TAP has. But usually you find that is where most people are cutting from what would be my income. If someone was, renovating their house, they will think, after all, it hasn't yet, fallen. So I would rather not get into this venture. I can always come back towards this. So you find that people are instead cutting down costs on what they think is not urgent, and sometimes my business falls in that sector. So whereas to them it is a priority area, to other businesses that don't come off as life and death options are then put to hold. And just like Nicholas mentioned, then you find that most people in the value chain of how money moves from the bank to the different business people, these people that are left out are struggling. So it means me as a business owner who also wants to save, and because I'm receiving less revenue than I anticipated or than I would ordinarily receive, I cannot be able to remit now to UAP if I'm saving with them. So it's a cycle on, depending on what someone is doing, depending on the level of engagement in terms of production, in terms of maybe innovation. If you're at a certain stage of your business where your business is still trying to acquire first-time customers, you're definitely going to struggle, because the investment that you need to put into your business to be able to get buying customers, get you just started out, is so hard. Whereas mature businesses may be able to sustain their businesses just to keep running, but not be able to maybe make lots of revenue. It becomes very difficult if a business had just operated for maybe a year or two, or if a business had actually just started out. So saving is possible depending on where you are. But if you're a business owner whose business is not a primary sector for most families and most households, then most probably you're going to struggle.
Ending the discussion on savings and want to enter into entrepreneurship, of course, it is connected. But I want to hear from you, Nicholas, in your parting shots on the issue of savings. You had given us some practical ways of saving. Would you want to elaborate more on how people can be able to save, mainly people who are employed, the employed people who earn a salary, who are not necessarily business owners, but are employed and they earn a fixed salary? How possible can they save? I'm aware that you're also an author of a book Beyond Education, but also, and also other books. So please give us some of those practical ways that people can save more.
Okay, thank you so much, moderator. Now, especially the people who are still earning a salary, the opportunities to save are still there. I know the business people are having so many challenges, but majorly for people who are earning a salary, or maybe if your business is still able to give you some profit, the opportunities to save are there, and there are many. And these are general, even after, because now we are talking about this because of the economic situation, but even after the economy has settled, say we shall still need to save, because we have to prepare for such periods, because they will not end. Even when the economy recovers, there will be a period, you know, when COVID came, no one knew it was coming. So there will still be periods where you will need that money that you saved. So if, for example, if you are employed and you're earning a salary, or you have a business and it's at a point where it's bringing you some revenue, there are options. Number one, we know most people still find it difficult to save. So you want to engage in forced saving, in opportunities which can help you to do savings. There's what we call forced savings. These are some plans which you can subscribe to, and they will somehow force you to deposit some money. For example, people have, when you look at investment clubs in Uganda, they have gained a lot of popularity, and they have helped so many people to save. People who would ordinarily not save, when you join an investment club, they will tell you every month each person must contribute 100,000. So that is an extra 100,000 saved. And you find that if you had not joined that investment club, at the end of the year, you would not have that 1.2 million on your bank account. So you can join investment clubs. If you don't have any, you can start one and invite your friends. You can have some insurance products like Lydia was talking about. They have so many products where you can save. You can contact an insurance agent to give you one of those plans where you can save, or you can look at these other agents for capital markets. They also have a lot of plans where you can save money, and you know, money that is invested in capital markets earns some interest. So you're not saving like on a bank account. When you have a savings account on a bank account, the money that you deposit doesn't earn a lot of interest. The interest is actually insignificant. Actually, instead, inflation comes in and even reduces the real value of that money. So if you were to save, you want to be saving in an option that is instead increasing your money. And sometimes we fear to engage in some of these ventures. I know most people don't know how capital markets operate. So they don't know how unit trusts work, collective investment schemes, and all this. And yet, it is easy. Sometimes people think that you need a lot of money to invest, yet you need as low as 100,000 to invest in some of these schemes. So that's why it is important to look at companies that have been licensed as agents, and insurance companies like UAP, where Lydia works, are agents, even in the capital markets. So you can contact any of them and you start saving. You don't need to have millions of money to start investing in some of these areas. That interest which they give you at the end of the period, it may be 12%, it may be 10%, but your money is still growing, because if inflation is 5% and you earn 10%, your money has grown in net terms by 5%. And the main thing is that you are saving, leave alone even the issue of interest. The main issue is that you are saving money. So engaging in some of those or circles, some people at work have started circles. If you don't have a circle at your workplace, you better start one, or if you have not joined, you better join. Even if it's not there at your workplace, you join one in your community. You should have several areas where you are forced to save money, because I know the expenditure is so high. So if you don't have several areas, several commitments where you have to deposit money every month, it becomes very hard to keep money in cash form, either in your pocket or on your bank account. You can be sure that you will withdraw that money. And of course, you have to reduce your expenditure. Moderator, when you go out, we are saying the economy is doing badly, people don't have anything to eat. But if you go to those hangout places this evening, you will find them full. So, whereas some people may not have what to eat, there are those who are still spending a lot of money on some of these areas where they now, some of those people who go there actually and spend a lot. I'm not saying that people shouldn't go out and have fun, but you need to go out and have fun when you have saved some money. If you have only 10K in your pocket, it is not prudent to go out and drink the whole 10, or even spend 20 and you remain in a debt. So you have to look at areas which you can postpone for now. Probably if your income is low, then you don't have to go out every day. If you have been going out every day, probably this time you go out once a week or once a month. So that's one of the areas that people can look at. And when times are hard, we have to be a little bit selfish sometimes. People are still making parties. They still want you to come to their wedding meetings and contribute money. People are still having all sorts of things where you have to contribute money. So these are some of the things you can cut out. If I'm struggling, why should I have to contribute money to someone's wedding? So these are some of the things, and many others. I don't want to spend a lot of time, but you have to record your expenditure. It is important that we all record our expenditure every month, and this is the time to go back to that list and see what we can cross out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicholas, for that. Lydia, would you like to also give us quick tips, quick takeaways on increasing saving?
Yeah, thank you very much. I like my fellow discussants of today, what they're saying, but I should also add this, that the problem is not what to save. Ladies and gentlemen, the problem is not what to save. The problem is that people do not know the right ways to save. We do not have knowledge of where we should save. I like what the lady just mentioned, that people out in business, people don't have what to save. People actually have got what to save because they are spending. They are spending. So you ask yourself that, as we say that the economy is bad, Nicholas just mentioned it. Go to the bar, today is a Friday. Go to the bar and see. But then sit with one of the people and ask, what have you actually saved for the month of June? Nothing. I just saw one time Nicholas posting on his status that I'm looking for people to join this investment club. For example, I raised my hand and said, yeah, Nicholas, I want to join. How much is it? 100,000. All along I've been wanting to join some investment clubs out there. 100,000. I got shocked. I was like, I have it. I went to the bank and paid it. I'm now a member. So having the knowledge of where I should save. And gentlemen and a lady here, when you want to save, you don't even look at something so big. Nicholas has said, look for the group. I have had a group of women who are saving 2,000, 3,000 per day. 3,000 per day. So we do not need millions of money to save. We just need one, a culture of saving. Two, we just need knowledge of where we should save, or how, because when you're saving, having to count how much money you are spending a day, how much money they're deducting on your mobile money, how much money they are deducting on your savings account, whatever your money is in the bank. That is why I say that we have got to be so wise when we want to save. You sit down and even see how much money mobile money is deducting from you whenever you're paying someone. You look at how much is your bank account deducting. There are many bank accounts in savings accounts in the bank, but each and every one, even before you open up an account, you ask how much is the monthly charge. You guys, you just need to go to the bank and just ask for your bank statement and see how much is even being deducted. Even the terms that you don't understand, 200 shillings, 300 shillings, 1,500 shillings, all that is a cost. So we just need one thing, knowledge. Where do I invest my money, however little it is? Then you can imagine when you're looking at a woman out there in the market who is doing business and is putting 3,000 per day, and she works the whole week up to Sunday, but let me say up to 6 days, up to Saturday, and maybe she's resting on a Sunday. That is 18,000 for the whole week. If you multiply that for the whole for the month, that is 54,000. You multiply that for the whole year, that is 864,000. Just a lady who works in the market. So 864,000, and she has known this unit trust fund and she has put her money there. Her 3,000, moreover, has been earning a shilling every day. Because if you know the right place to put your money and say, I've put it under the umbrella trust fund, and I've started with my 100,000, and every day I am adding, it means this kind of a person at the end of the year, he or she will be having $1 million, because this 864,000 will receive the interest, because the person had the knowledge that even this interest will not be charged, will not be taxed anywhere. So the problem is people to understand the right investment to put their money, however big or small it is. Then what I can also talk about here as I end is that, of course, you know, as Ugandans, we like spending so much than saving. Like our savings culture is so low. People do not want to be advised. And what they have resorted to is maybe to put their money in ventures, say somebody having a pot under the bed, and maybe that's where they're putting their money. By the end of the year, you have your 3,000. Nicholas talked about that, the losing of the value. So that means instead of you thinking that you'll be saving, you'll be reducing on your savings actually. So as long as we continue sensitizing the people on the right savings and giving them all these options, because actually people know that for you to save, you have to put your money in the bank. There's some people who just know that for me to save, I must have an account in the bank, and that is where I'm putting the money. Things have changed. People, we need to read so much. We need to sensitize the people, even back in our villages, our mothers. I normally post on my status that I want that woman out there to help, so that they do not only depend on Kameza money, but they look at that Kameza money to make for them more money for tomorrow, to join the circles around of other women around. Because you can imagine, when you're coming to a unit trust with 100,000, you will not earn like when you're in an investment club and you're 50 people, because now there they will look at how much money you're bringing in. Even in the banks, when you walk to the bank with 1 million today in Stanchart and you're saying that I want to fix this money, they will give you a low rate. But if you're 100 people and you walk to Standard Chartered Bank with 100 millions, the discussion is different. The discussion is different. So we just need to learn. And together with my colleagues, I think we need to continue sensitizing the people out there. Post on your WhatsApp status, write something. I already see Nicholas on Twitter, write something, write books. People buy books for Nicholas beyond education, because some of us think that after school, things will just be on silver plate. You want to save, you go and tell your dad. You want to do this, your employer is responsible. No, things are different. Things have become so difficult that we just don't need to continue thinking the way we used to think or the way our mothers used to think. We just need to read so much, think differently, have challenges, have people like Nicholas to challenge you that, man, you're going out every day. Start going out at least on a Friday once a week. So we need challenges in our lives. And lastly, the people we look up to. Lydia is an insurance expert, yes. She wakes up in the morning to look for clients to buy these investment, to save and invest. Yes, that's my job. But I mean, how many people are out there and they are looking for jobs, but they're even lazy to just come and begin, say, looking for clients so that they can begin earning. So that is what I can say for now. We shall continue sensitizing, we shall continue meeting people, but I will still end with that point that I started with, that the problem is not what to save. The problem is that we lack the knowledge of where to save. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and Lydia. So we are now delving into the last part of our discussion, which I believe should be for around 20 minutes. Uganda has been praised to be among the most enterprising nations. In Africa, we actually, as of in 2020, were ranked number 9 when it came to being enterprising in Africa. We were consequently ranked number 12. This year, I have not yet seen the latest figures, but we seem to be ebbing. We're not doing well, but we are still at least in the top 20 countries that have the most enterprising people. Uganda has also achieved, according to the World Bank, it has achieved gender parity in when it comes to entrepreneurship. And that is, according to the World Bank, as of November 2021. We have many women starting businesses in Uganda, perhaps among the leading countries in the world when it comes to gender parity. We actually rank number 12. However, as many of you have known and heard and read, few businesses in this country make it to their first year. Professor Sejaka, one of our economists in this country, has stated that many businesses do not survive beyond their first birthday. And in an article in the Daily Monitor, written on the 21st of January 2021, the Daily Monitor noted that only 30%, about 30% businesses registered or started do not make it to their first year. You know, they do not finish the 12 months, so they're not able to celebrate the next year. That means they're not also able to even show on their returns that they're still in business. So you are economists and entrepreneurs. Please, Aruho, paint for us a picture of entrepreneurship in this country. Is it easy to be an entrepreneur, and what is the entrepreneurship environment like in this country? Then I'll go to Vaolah, who will share with us her experience in starting a business.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator. Indeed, Ugandans are very enterprising. Actually, even those that are employed, you'll find someone has a side business somewhere. So Ugandans are very enterprising people. The situation, of course, in business has never been easy, not only in Uganda, but everywhere in the world. starting a business has never been easy. Usually when you have an idea in your head, everything looks fine. You draw the plan in your head. Usually when you come up with a business plan, everything looks rosy. We tend to overestimate how the idea will work. We tend to overestimate the number of clients we shall get. We overestimate the amount of money we need to start. So, but we all know that when you start, the situation usually is different. You will find you need more time, you need more money. You find that you will get less clients than you expected. So the costs you end up increasing much more than you expected, and many other challenges. But Ugandans, nevertheless, are very enterprising. That is true, although most businesses tend to close, as you have already indicated in the statistics. Of course, there are several reasons. Some of them can be avoided. Probably I will point out some which can be avoided to reduce on the rate of businesses that are closing. Most of us start businesses without doing enough research. You start a business because you've seen someone else doing it. Because someone has a shop somewhere, you see them making money, so you also open another shop selling the same things. Because someone has a mobile money business somewhere, so you also go and start yours without considering the location of where yours is and where the other person's business is. So most of us do not take time to do research. We start a business that we have seen others running without knowing the details of their situation, where they are getting their capital, whether they are even making profits. Because there are people who have been in business for 10 years and they have never made any profit. Maybe some of these businesses are started to keep people busy. There are many men here in town who start businesses for their ladies, because probably they don't want them to sit at home. So you will see a business has been running for 5 years, but it has never made any profit. So you need to, before we start, we need to find out the location, we need to find out the actual cost of this business. We need to know where the market is, who will be my customers, what do they want, what am I going to provide that is different from what someone else is providing. I've liked Vaolah's idea of delivering the hardware materials. We have, you can see that is her competitive advantage, whereas someone else will go and start another hardware next to the existing hardware or in another location. For her, she's delivering. And there are many people who will not have time to keep going to hardware to buy. So that can give you a competitive advantage. So before we start, we need to find out what is our competitive advantage in relation to what other businesses are doing. And another thing that I can point out, most of these businesses are collapsing because they are not well supervised. Many of these businesses are being started by people who have daily jobs. You have an 8 to 5 job, but because you want to earn money, you've heard that to earn money, you must start a business. So you go and get a loan from your employer or from the bank. You get a salary loan, you start a business, you call your relative from the village to come and manage it. But they don't share your vision. They are also here just to earn. So the business ends up collapsing because of lack of supervision. So some of those can be avoided. Some of the challenges cannot be maybe structural because of where we find ourselves. We are still a poor country. Some of them may be beyond our control as entrepreneurs, but some of them can be avoided if we plan well and if we supervise well and we do more thinking before we venture into business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Vaolah, you are CEO, yeah, at least part of your time. among your many titles, there is a title CEO. That means you're an entrepreneur. You started a business, or at least you manage a business. First, tell me, how old is your business?
Wena makes 4 years this year.
You're making 4 years. So
Yeah.
you've survived the statistics that we are talking about, So you are in the exceptional few that have managed to keep it going. But before you and I want to ask you how you've managed to, one, start business, but also keep it going. Before you come, I also want to add on some statistics. Uganda is actually among the countries in the region with the, I think we are second to Rwanda when it comes to the ease of starting business. Uganda's cost of business, to start a business, is around 600,000 on average. Of course, all factors remaining constant.
Yeah.
Whereas other countries are slightly over 1 million shillings. Rwanda has been more progressive on that front by making it free for at least 2 years. Tell us, Vaolah, how did you manage to start a business and also keep it going? Well, you said in the earlier segment that it's hard, things are hard, but at least you keep going. So I'm sure it's not all bad.
So thank you. Actually, just like Nicholas mentioned, one of the reasons why businesses fail, being that people have 8 to 5, jobs where they have to report elsewhere to work. When I started, when I was employed somewhere else, and for me, it was to get a salary and be able to pay other people that would run the business. So I think people also need to know how they can be able to have a business alongside their job. Do not cheat your boss, but how do you serve both entities that you intend to survive or earn from? So fast forward, it's been 4 years, actually 5 years, but we got registered a year after. So the first year was what Nicholas would call market research. I was testing out the venture and seeing if it's actually worth, the long term. And that's why it was registered a year after. Whereas I celebrate 5 years because I have to 4 years because I have to justify. It's actually 5 years of running this business. And how did I start? First of all, the nature of the venture itself gave value to people I was targeting. Wena is an online hardware store that started to provide materials to people in the diaspora or people who are working away from where they are building. If you're living in Kampala and building up country, you don't know any hardware store or you don't have how to buy materials, Wena is the solution or is the bridge. Fast forward to the lockdown, people were not able to physically move into a hardware store. So then the Ugandans living here also adopted to online shopping. And when I was one of those options that people chose, to adopt to buying materials online. So for me, it's been, what value are you offering to people at any one given time? And Wena has, okay, personally, professionally, I'm a marketer, so I have to understand what value I am giving if I am targeting, and that is reflected in the business I do. So whereas all people start out with something they intend to offer to their customers, it is sometimes challenging in understanding how to evolve with your customers. And that is my personal challenge as a business owner and a business head. Our challenge is to always make sure that we have value at whatever point our customers or our would-be customers are at. If someone has completed building a house, then we should move into interior design for their houses. So understanding that it's been 4 years of serving customers, therefore these persons from the first year we started with them are now at a certain point, and we therefore have to meet them at that point. Even before they head there is where surviving in business is at, because business is not static. I believe it is something that grows, and you understanding how your business should grow is where, I can't say that magic, but I think it's where survival lies. And therefore, it is very important that all entrepreneurs see and learn how their business can evolve to meet their customer needs. And that is how they will be relevant, and that is how they will still be able to earn despite the trying moments that we are all in. You mentioned something about gender parity that Uganda has attained. Wow, interesting. But I think we need to also look into the specifics of the women-led or women-owned businesses that Uganda has. If most people in my neighborhood are women, they own stalls, tomato stalls. So how much can that woman actually make for her home, for her household? It is very, yes, she will be counted as someone who owns a business. Maybe she will not sleep hungry, but is she able to take her children to a certain school compared to men who have hardware stores, who have, these big enterprises? So it is good that we are somewhere, but I would also love it if women are taking on certain businesses that are bringing in a certain amounts of revenue. Otherwise, thank you so much for creating this space to have this candid conversation. It's been great learning from Nicholas and Lydia. And I do believe that with such conversations that CCG and Civic Space TV is bringing on board, we will be grooming a new generation that looks at saving and entrepreneurship differently. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you very much. Lydia, would you like to contribute to this? And also,
yeah, thank you very much.
Also add on the gender parity, issue.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Vaolah. We've had you, and we've learned something from you. What I can talk about businesses, my colleagues already talked about so much about this, but me, I will talk about patience when you are doing business or when you've started business. Some people think that when you're going to start the business, it's going to be your everything at start. And the reason I'm talking about patience is that most people, when they start up a business, they want the business to pay everything, including their bills, which is the greatest mistake that we make. First of all, to start up a business, you need to have your business plan, which most of us Ugandans do not have that. So my friend is doing piggery, therefore I'm also going to do that. We copy and we want to paste. We copy and want to paste. You have not read so much about that person who is succeeding. You do not know where that person started from. Maybe his or her first years where he or she was also struggling. And so for you, just looking at the successful business right now, and you also want to jump and be that successful. See the mistakes that we do. So we need so much of patience in doing business. So much patience. Because you hear our friend Vera is saying that she has been doing it for 5 years. But she will tell you that in her first year, second year, things were not moving. Things were not good. So you can imagine having that 2 million capital, for example, you start up the business, but then you want that very month to pay your rent, to be paying your transport. In fact, you pick even some for the evening drink on a Friday. So patience is needed. 2, we need to do market research so much about if I am following what Nicholas is doing, for how long has Nicholas been in that business? What was his challenges? What were his challenges at first? So after mastering that, now I will put into myself and say, Lydia, will you manage this? Will you manage what Nicholas has been doing? He has been on this business himself from morning to evening. Me, I want to jump in and come in at 5 p.m. after doing my insurance? Will I manage this? Those are the questions that every other entrepreneur should ask themselves about, and then look at, do I have enough capital? How much do I have? Because what I've learned in this Uganda is that you can do any business actually. You can do any business starting from 200,000 Uganda shillings. You can do business. If it is about chapati business, how much do I need to do it? Then Nicholas talked about the location. So do I need to work 24 hours? Because we've seen some chapati people who are doing business from 7 to evening, and then also work at night. Like for example, when you go to Chitintare, there, Chitintare stage, those guys work 24 hours. So that person may be successful compared to the person who only wakes up at 7 and makes chapatis up to midday and he goes back to sleep. Then another point is the zeal. What kind of the zeal do you have for that particular business? So some people call this business as a calling also. For every person that you have seen succeeding in this Uganda, it is about also the zeal they have put into the business, the love of the business. Do you love making chapati? Actually, do you love talking to people while serving them with your chapati? Because that one alone. So that is the zeal I'm talking about. And then the competitive advantage over the others, she talked about it, Vaolah. I also had it as my point here. What other things do you do on top of the business that you are doing? The services under that business, are you serving your customers with a smile? Are they coming back tomorrow again to buy the same chapatis? You know, some people can come back to buy the chapati, even though it was not tasting good, but the kind of the service that you had on top of your selling chapati matters so much. The customer service is what I'm talking about. The customer service that you're giving your customers. Is your customer coming again tomorrow? And that is the reason here we have that you make your business, then put somebody to work in your business who does not have what I've talked about above, and then your business will not, of course, spend a year. Your business will actually struggle within the first 12 months or even close within the first 12 months. So, and my last point is the time. The time you are putting into your business matters. The time you're putting into your business matters. Whether you work somewhere, whether now for you are saying that every Saturday it's my whole day there and I'm monitoring each and everything. I have put the structure, there are cameras. I want to come and see how my customers who are buying chapatis are being served. Is there a smile? If somebody is not doing what you want, then you let them go before, other than putting them in your business, and then you do not spend a year doing your business. So I think, according to what I know about entrepreneurship, is what I have mentioned. And what I want to tell people out there doing business is that any amount of money can start up a business. Any amount of money can start up a business. Do not run to loans. Look for the 10 million before making the research. Don't just copy and paste before reading about this successful person, what he or she did before. That is what I can say for now. Otherwise, everyone can succeed in business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our time is fast spent. I would like to thank all of you for being here. And I'm going to give you 1 minute strictly each to have your closing remarks. And yes, and we shall call it a day, a week. So please let me begin with you, Lydia. In 1 minute, your closing remarks, and then we shall have Nicholas and end with Vaolah.
Thank you so much. Once again, what I can simply say is that the economy is bad. Yes, of course, the economy is bad, but we cannot just sit there and watch it. We are the ones supposed to change this economy, not the government. Everyone has got the responsibility of changing this economy, negatively, positively, how you look at it. Therefore, there is a lot as individuals that we have got to do. Go buy a book for Nicholas beyond education. Don't think that education will be the only thing to put food to the table. Buy a book, read, have a mentor, the person that you look up to who has been there maybe for some time, put in some money to learn from the experts. I'm the insurance expert. Put in some money to go to my YouTube. I type in the insurance expert. I normally talk about so much about what is happening, how you and me can benefit through saving, then what is the best investment plan that you can go for. And I'm on YouTube and I'm on Twitter, Facebook, though I'm not, because of the kind of job that I do, I'm not so much engaged. However, I use so much of YouTube. People out there need to go and check on my YouTube, type in the insurance expert or type in my full names, Lydia Musiimire. You go and follow even Vaolah, and I know Nicholas already followed me. Vaolah and you, Alex, you need to go and also follow, see what we talk about, share with the rest of the guys out there. We just need to spread the gospel. And of course, reading so much about the emotional intelligence will be my last. Emotional intelligence of however much that the economy is on the other side. We are looking at it so much at things are so hard, but then as individuals, how are we able to calm it down, to understand that this is what we've got to do to get the solutions of what is happening sometimes is your personal initiative. So read so much about the emotional intelligence. So when this thing is happening, how am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? How am I also supposed to survive with my fellow Ugandans? How am I supposed to touch a fellow Ugandan for all of us to survive in this economy? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lydia. Nicholas, in 1 minute, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator. I will end by encouraging Ugandans, let us be deliberate. Let us be deliberate in all these things, whether it is savings, whether it is investment, whether it is entrepreneurship. Let us be deliberate because we have to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Let us not expect government to come in and be the one to help us. Let us be deliberate. Let us put in our efforts. Let us look for information, and let us continue. Let us progress. As long as we are progressing, things may not be easy. We may not focus on perfection. We may not be rich the next day. We may not have the biggest business the next day. But as long as we are progressing, let's focus on progress, not perfection. And let us continue learning. Let us learn from others, and we shall succeed. Those who want to buy my books are available in the leading bookstores. You can go to Aristoc, you can go to Uganda Bookshop, you can go to Book Point, or you can send me a message on any social media platform. I use my real names, Nicholas Aruho. Let us keep the conversation going. Otherwise,
please repeat the titles of your books.
My books, one of them is called The Breakthrough, and another one is called Beyond Education. I talk about real life issues that are not taught in school, that we all need. Yeah. Thank you and have a good day.
Good day to you too. Vaolah.
Thank you so much for this conversation and for this space. I also want to say I have had to learn from Nicholas and Lydia in this very conversation. And I think it's our role as individuals to save, but also to grow the businesses that we started. We continue to seek knowledge so that we are able to sustain these businesses. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and greetings to the person you are seated with there. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to our hosts, Center for Constitutional Governance and Civic Space TV. Thank you to our panelists. I would encourage all of you who can get copies of Nicholas's books. He has written Beyond Education. He has also written another book called The Breakthrough. And I also encourage people to follow Lydia Musiimire, the insurance expert. In fact, she is tagged in the, on the YouTube. If you check the description of this particular show, she is tagged in the just down as you go to the comment sections. You will be able to follow her, continue to, so that we continue to enrich ourselves and to learn more about their different fields that they share through their books and their channels respectively, and also continue to support other people who are doing business, the young people, the women who get out of their way, beat all kind of stereotypes, beat the odds to start businesses in this country. And also we appeal to government to lift the ban on Facebook. As we've seen, there are many entrepreneurs who are conducting business online. It should also be very cheap in this country to do business online. We should have MBs and data costs reduced, if we are to encourage entrepreneurship. We should also continue serving, joining investment clubs, investment groups, buying bonds, etc. Thank you very much. I've been your moderator, Martin Musiime. I wish you a blessed week. See you next time.